This is David Smoke's statewide Texas high school football podcast on 365 Sports and powered by Smoaky.com and sponsored by Peter Chevrolet in Longview, an innovative third-generation family dealership dedicated to ethics, integrity, and the community, while creating friendly, intelligent, and transparent environment to assist with any automotive need, large or small.
McNair in the gun with under 2 minutes left, down 44-0, trying to get a score. English right side, and he will score. Touchdown, the senior, Raul English from 2 yards out.
Texas Farm Bureau Insurance. We are an insurance provider built by Texans for Texans. We've been protecting families in our great state since 1952. Sturdy Steel. We build more than grandstands and press boxes. We build the spaces where communities come together. Based in Texas and serving communities nationwide. Batteries Plus. We have the person who can fix what you need with expert knowledge on batteries and have you on your way and good to go in no time. Batteries Plus, the experts in charge. Rudy's Country Store and Barbecue, with locations throughout the Southwest, serving up tasty food since 1989, including off I-35 in Waco. Next in line, Marco's Pizza, the fastest growing pizza brand in America. Marco's Pizza, Marcos.com. Pizza lovers get it with 5 locations in the Waco area. Bird Culchin Ford on the Loop and Highway 6 in Waco. And Waco's trusted Ford dealer since 1936. And customers know they can expect us to be fair, honest, affordable, and always committed to the tradition of quality service.
Here we are. We started this back in mid to late August when the 2025 Texas high school football season began, and we are championship week, state championship week, with the 6-man Class 1A title game starting on Wednesday morning into early Wednesday afternoon, and then, of course, a game late on Wednesday, all the way, 3 games every day, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, and we'll look at the games a little closer here in a moment, and also how we got to this point. But AT&T Stadium, where I was just, a couple of weekends ago for the Big 12 championship game, where the Cowboys played Sunday night against the Vikings, and yet again, another amazing week with the Texas high school football state championships. But how did we get here? There are 5 to 7 different pieces, tweets, information, even videos of some of the best wins. I normally go over them, but we have so much to get to. Let's look at DeSoto, 57-41, as they beat South Lake Carroll. They trailed in this game by 3 scores, and then they started to come back. And then South Lake Carroll was at the goal line, like right at inches. Initially called a touchdown, the quarterback on a scramble. It was overruled, and on the very next play, DeSoto puts this baby away.
Safety, and you win anyway. Here it is. Or they could just give it one more time. Unbelievable. Here we go. Sirrod Baker, 99
even with the angle, cannot catch him, 99 yards. Now, we're going to say a lot about Baker. I was at the game when they played Longview, 3 weeks ago, 2 or 3 weeks ago, and he's special. But so is DeSoto. And remember, we had Claude Mathis, the head coach, on earlier about a month ago, and so emotional in that interview with us, and we'll have that in just a second. So 99 yards to sew it up, and DeSoto wins that game 57-41. And Riley Dodge on the doorstep again. Last year, remember, they lost in the state championship game. I think it was, the Vandergrift. So they keep knocking on the door, and they were loaded this year. So how much total yards of offense does this DeSoto offense, how much did they have against South Lake Carroll? 758 yards. And, of course, Baker had a lot of that. So after the game, remember, it was Claude Mathis who broke down a little bit when he was on with us about how he's grown up and how he's tried to mold these young men. Now, hey, DeSoto still has moments. And I even told Claude this, man, just play the game. But they are high-strung. He is high-strung. You want emotion? Here's Claude Mathis after the comeback win against South Lake Carroll.
What does this say about DeSoto?
Somebody said it was the end of an era. Somebody said it was the end of an era. It's just beginning. It's just beginning. You're telling I get it. That's what it is. We here. We nowhere else. We here. We gonna be goddamn nasty. Love these kids. I'm tired of people talking about it. That's all they do. They want to talk about it, talk about it. Don't stop. Well, guess what? Our kids, they fight. Our coach, they fight. We believe in one another. Nobody can take down a great fair play crowd and stay close. But they forgot about DeSoto. Now, let's thank God that he gave the shoulder to everybody else. We're a true team. We're a true team.
All right, so by the way, thanks to Nick Harris, who put that up on his Twitter feed, and also Victory Plus, who will have all the championship games this year. That was Claude Matheson, the post-game interview. That's who he is. All right, that's who he is, and at times it's the strength, and sometimes it can be the weakness, as DeSoto now plays for another state championship this week. In the end, here is Sirrod Baker, who had the 99-yard touchdown run. I saw him put up 200-plus against Longview. But look at that. This is the stretch run, the 5 playoff wins, and Sirrod Baker, 158, 375, 202, and then 402, and then 366 against South Lake Carroll. And on top of that, 9, 16, 19 touchdowns in 5 games. What a run. So what does this mean? Well, when I saw him play against Longview, I was like, wow. He now, like immediately, he's getting recruited by everybody, but now he's even more front and center. I saw where he posted an offer from Ohio State. You know, there's what, 5, Garrett Ross, by the way, producing again. 6 or 8, maybe 10 schools in the country that if you get an offer from them, that means you can get an offer from anybody.
Man, I might even say like 7. Yeah. Ohio State's one of them. Texas,
Alabama, Georgia. And there you could even say a handful of others. And now, there's a few others you could add to the list, but you get one from them. Man. And so when I saw that from Ohio State, and then I think it was yesterday or on Sunday, it was yesterday, Oregon, another one, of course, is kind of always in that mix. Again, Ohio State, Texas, Georgia, Alabama, and perhaps 2 to 3 others that are in that. They are the ones you get but you can get an offer from LSU. That means you can get an offer from anybody else too, or other places. So that's good. Ohio State, and then also Oregon, just as they add to the offers for Sirrod Baker. Now, there's another game. Aledo, we understand that like the most state championships in the history of high school football from the 11-man schools. Carthage, by the way, we'll tell you in a minute, they're trying to chase that one down with Scott Surratt. But Aledo just breeds state championships. Here's a couple of notes from them. So I'm watching this game unfold. I'm on vacation in Florida with my 2 brothers and sister-in-law at Hutchinson Island in Florida. And I'm sitting there watching these games go on. And this one here, where Aledo seemed like they were always just a little bit more than what Frisco Lone Star could get to. And we're going to have Lone Star's head coach, Coach Rayburn, here in a minute. But so then Lone Star comes back. This is when they put themselves in position to possibly come all the way back against double-digit state championship Aledo. Trey Wright, the quarterback, and a slant pattern to Zach Forbish. 30 seconds to go in the game, and Lone Star comes all the way back against Aledo, which is just beating Aledo is a huge deal, and they did. And then on top of that, here's a note from Matt Diggs. Aledo led that game for 59 minutes and 30 seconds. Wright, who we just mentioned, who threw the pass, had 366 yards passing, 177 yards rushing, 8 touchdowns, 28 points in the fourth quarter as Lone Star comes all the way back, and they'll be playing for a state title. And again, Coach Rayburn will join us here in just a moment, the head coach at Lone Star. Then also this note from Greg Tepper. Does a great job in covering high school football. He, Matt Stepp, and others. First time Aledo will miss, now look at this, first time that Aledo will miss the state championship game in consecutive years since 2007, 2008 when they missed it. So 17 consecutive years. Now it's going to be, I guess it would be for 15 years, they were at least in, if not winning back-to-back or in back-to-back or 2 or 3 in a row or 4 in a row. This is the first time since 07 and 08 that they will not be in back-to-back years in a state championship. Speaking of streaks, how about South Oak Cliff and Coach Todd? We've had him on this show. South Oak Cliff becomes the 8th program in Texas high school football. This is public UIL school history to reach 5 consecutive state championships. We know that the record of 5 consecutive state championship wins is Lake Travis, back when they had Garrett Gilbert, Baker Mayfield, among others. 5 consecutive state championship games coming up for South Oak Cliff. And then there's a team that they're brand new. Richmond Randall's a new school. I mean, they're pups. They're in the crib. And yet they're really good, too. They won it last year. They got a running back. We've been discussing, Kagan Ash, who we'll get to in a moment, among others. Landon William Callis had 5 touchdowns in their win to move into the state championship round. He's number 2 now all-time in Houston when it comes to touchdowns, surpassing Kenneth Hall. Now, this is not in the state of Texas. This is in the city of Houston area. He has 131 touchdowns, just slightly ahead of his cousin, former Oregon State running back and Lamar Consolidated High School star, Jaquiz Rogers, who had 136. Here's a highlight of Landon Williams Callis from Richmond Randall, who they win over Bernie the Greyhounds 40-16. Just gone. Great moves, power, speed, effort, not going to be stopped. Touchdown. He's a special player. 5'8", 187, I think is how he's listed. A 5-star player. 58 touchdowns this season overall, and he runs at 10.5 700. Landon Williams Callis, and we'll have more on him. Then you have Stephenville beating Salina in a game where they had to come back. They trailed in that game most of the way, and this is the last part of the game. This is Brighton DeVivo, and this game comes down to what is a 45-yard field goal attempt to move into the state championship game.
With 7 seconds remaining, 21 all, DeVivo will attempt a 46-yard field goal. Snap, hold, kick is on the way, and it is good! The Jackets, with 1 second left, all the time has come off, and the Jackets at the gun have won 24-21. The 30-game win streak for Salina is over, and the Jackets will go to the state championship.
And Stephenville, another team with great lineage. Salina with another team with great lineage. And what they've had to deal with this year was some of the off-the-field issues legally. And so Stephenville wins it at the buzzer. Brighton DeVivo with a 45-yard kick at the buzzer. Now, one of the games, by the way, Carthage beat Brock 49-21. Our great friend Jerry Forrest from pigskinprep.com. His index had Brock as a favorite. No, that's the index. It's not. There's no human emotion there. It's how the index spits it out. There's no way that would have been Brock as a favorite. But the index, the numbers, the analytics, all of that, metrics, etc. 49-21 Carthage. Scott Sirrod and the Bulldogs have 10 state championships and now trying to get to 11. Of course, he's been there for all of them. They had been in one state championship game back in the day, but did not win it. So they're yet again in the state championship game. We'll look at the state championship game matchups a little bit later on. Also, this one surprised me too, because Refugio, we know how good they are, but Joaquin with that slot T and their head coach, Jared Jones, who one time a couple of weeks ago said to me, they don't want the bone. They don't want the slot. They don't want a piece of this. This was a couple of weeks ago. 37-28, they beat Refugio. And it was a big upset. And Greg Tepper with that note too. And then finally, and it's over, but what a run it's been for Mount Enterprise running back Kagan Ash, the senior. We've highlighted him. We even mentioned him maybe once or twice last year. Here is, remember, he's broken the record for most yards rushing in a single season, most points in a single season. Hardy shattered those. He was on his way to possibly breaking the most career points in a single season, in a career. But we'll have the graphics on that from Garrett in a minute. But this run right here put him over the top when it comes to the all-time, I'm talking not single season, the all-time leading rusher in Texas high school football history in their game against Shiner. And here's Kagan Ash. Now, Shiner led this game pretty much, and they did from start to finish, but that one right there put Kagan Ash over the top. So let's look now. His season's over. They lost Shiner so good, the Comanches 28-8. Here is the all-time rushing yards leader in Texas high school football history. This is not the country. This is Texas. And he took, even with the loss, he didn't score. That right there is breaking news. 11,382 is now what was Babe Ruth, then Henry Aaron, and then Barry Bonds, all-time leading career rushing yards. There's Kenneth Hall. That stood for 72 years. Remember that? A lot of these records did. And Kagan Ash now is at the top, the Texas Tech commit, after the loss to Shiner. He had 32 carries, 240 yards in a loss. So he all-time rushing leader. Then look at the bottom. He was chasing Jonathan Gray for career points. Is that right? We got that? Career points. Did not score. He ends up 26 points away from that. If they had won and then maybe played it, there's a chance he gets to Jonathan Gray, whose record stays at 1,232. Then, we already knew this, Kagan Ash had broken the single season rushing record by Kenneth Hall that was for 72 years. He's already blew right by that, 4,562. By the way, Landon Williams-Callis at Richmond Randall has 3,370 yards this year. There's a chance he's going to move into that list by the end of the championship week. And then single season points, Kagan Ash destroyed this record, crushed it, 528 points he scored this year, despite getting nothing against Shiner, no touchdowns or conversions. So we have, again, been fun. Kagan was on the show, and we appreciate Coach Ponder at Mount Enterprise for the access there. Now, when we come back in just a second, we're going to show you some dramatic endings to state championship games around the country that are mind-boggling. We'll also hear from Frisco Lone Star head coach Jeff Rayburn. He will join us as well. We have a lot to get to. And then we're going to come up with the best games. All of them are the championship games. And we'll look at what Jerry Forrest and pigskinprep.com think about them. This is the statewide high school football podcast in 365 Sports.
My go-to guy. Can you fix my smartphone?
Yes.
Do you have car batteries?
Yeah.
What about golf cart batteries?
Of course.
Battery from a G-Fob?
Absolutely.
My boat?
Huge variety.
Toy boat?
Sure.
Motorcycles?
You bet.
My apartment building?
Whole building.
Do you have batteries for my party lights?
Yeah.
Batteries Plus, the experts in charge.
Whatever it is you wrangle, whatever seeds you sow, no matter what you nurture or what you choose to grow, at Texas Farm Bureau Insurance, we're proud to protect all Texans.
Peters Ram in Longview is gearing up for this football season during the Make This the Summer event going on now. Make all the right moves by getting 25% off MSRP on new select Ram 1500 Lone Star crew cabs. The season is looking good with the largest selection of new Ram trucks at Peters Ram during the Make This the Summer event. Online at peterscars.com.
At Sturdy Steel, we build more than grandstands and press boxes. We build the spaces where communities come together. Based in Texas and serving communities nationwide, we're proud of our reputation for dependable, high-quality work and strong client relationships that stand the test of time. From concept to installation, our team of skilled drafters, welders, and installers takes pride in delivering seating solutions designed to last. With a focus on dependability, transparency, and service, we are here to make the unique needs of architects, contractors, schools, and venues across the country. We ensure every project is seamless, sturdy, and ready for generations of fans to enjoy. That's Sturdy Steel. This is David Smoke's statewide Texas high school football podcast on 365 Sports and powered by Smoaky.com and sponsored by Peter Chevrolet in Longview, an innovative third-generation family dealership dedicated to ethics, integrity, and the community, while creating friendly, intelligent, and transparent environment to assist with any automotive need, large or small.
McNair in the gun with under 2 minutes left, down 44-0, trying to get a score. English right side, and he will score. Touchdown, the senior, Raul English from 2 yards out.
Texas Farm Bureau Insurance. We are an insurance provider built by Texans for Texans. We've been protecting families in our great state since 1952. Sturdy Steel. We build more than grandstands and press boxes. We build the spaces where communities come together. Based in Texas and serving communities nationwide. Batteries Plus. We have the person who can fix what you need with expert knowledge on batteries and have you on your way and good to go in no time. Batteries Plus, the experts in charge. Rudy's Country Store and Barbecue, with locations throughout the Southwest, serving up tasty food since 1989, including off I-35 in Waco. Next in line, Marco's Pizza, the fastest growing pizza brand in America. Marco's Pizza, Marcos.com. Pizza lovers get it with 5 locations in the Waco area. Bird Culchin Ford on the Loop and Highway 6 in Waco. And Waco's trusted Ford dealer since 1936. And customers know they can expect us to be fair, honest, affordable, and always committed to the tradition of quality service.
I went over the dramatic wins, many of them last week for teams to get to the state championship. Lone Star High School in Frisco with a great tradition. Unbelievable names that have played in that program. And Jeff Rayburn's been there for a long time, been a part of it. And the win against Toledo to get to the state championship game this week. And a great run at 15-0. You have a 24-hour rule. Most coaches do, whether you win or you lose. And, of course, in the playoffs, if you win, you keep going. Was that tested a little bit more this week after the dramatic win against Toledo?
There's no doubt about it. You know, when you have that type of win in the semifinals against a 12-time state championship team in Toledo, you would like to hold on to that for a little bit longer. But there isn't any time for it. You know, it's a 24-hour rule, and you got to get back to work because we got a great challenge in Smithson Valley this Friday night. So as excited as we all were, we knew we had to kind of put that to the side. And once the season's over, we can celebrate that and all the great things. But we still got work to do.
So you opened up with a win against Argyle back to start the year, and obviously we know how good they are. And then you beaten Highland Park along the way, then Aledo along the way, and just been so good. Did you feel like you have young men that have grown into like juniors and seniors that are now playmakers? You have a quarterback who's spectacular, among others as well, Gross and others, Hoyt. Did you know this team was going to be this special?
Yeah, we had a hunch that this team had the opportunity to do these special things. I mean, obviously you see the high-level talent that we've got, but this team just had a different chemistry about them. The leadership was so good and just how much these kids truly loved each other. And you see that on a daily basis. You see it during the summertime and off season and boot camp when they're just around each other, when just in the locker room. You felt a different vibe about this team. We've always had, a lot of success and great teams, but you just felt a different vibe about this group.
I still am amazed, and again, because I'm old, that when I remember back in the late 70s, early 80s, I would drive to Plano and on a visit, and that was it. It was Plano High School. And I'm going to get to the point about Frisco. And then, of course, there's Plano East, and there's Plano West, and then there's Allen. Frisco was the same way. There was like this little cute town just north of Dallas and Fort Worth. And now there's like, it seemed like an entire district or two and a half. The explosion there. And it's a beautiful city too. How much, even though you've been there for a long time and watched, but the growth of where it was when you started in Frisco at ISD and also Lone Star and what it is now?
Yeah, I've been at Frisco for a long while now, and I've been at Lone Star for 16 years.
Mm-hmm.
So I've seen it since the start. Even when we opened up here in 2010, all there was around the school was a bunch of open fields, and people, warned us about hearing the gunshots early in the morning, and I was like, well, what are you talking about? So, well, everybody's dove hunting around, like right around the field. And so there's all these open fields, and you hear it in the morning, and just the amount of growth that we've had around here, the neighborhoods and the different schools. But it's, Frisco has really become the mecca of everything, with all the big businesses and PGA and the Star and Toyota and everything else. It's been really cool to see the growth. As a coach, you wish you could, keep all the kids and have all the depth and all the numbers and have all that competition. But as a community member, as a parent, like, you get it, there's 12 opportunities for kids, at whether you're in band or you're in football. And so just the student opportunity model that they've created has been really cool, but it has made it more difficult to have sustained success in a sport like football, where you have to have numbers and you have to have depth and you have to have competition. It's not, basketball or soccer, baseball, where you have a few, like, you got to have a whole army of folks to make it work. So that's where it's really affected us.
Yeah, and now Prosper's going through some of that growth just north, of course, what they have with multiple schools. And eventually, I don't know if they'll have what you basically have now is a skyline in Frisco, and it is a beautiful city when you drive through it at night. So you have playmakers, you have the guys inside the trenches, both on the offense and defensive line, special teams, all the things you do. But Hoyt, who's an incredible, multi-talented, versatile athlete, Gross, we know what he's done as well, putting up huge numbers. But Trey Wright had over 500 yards, and a lot of it rushing and passing, and just a sophomore. What was the decision-making leading into the year where he takes over at quarterback?
There was a lot going into it. Obviously, we knew the talent level. He was our JV quarterback as a freshman. He's a varsity basketball player as a freshman. So you saw the immense talent. We saw him in middle school, all the things that he could do. But Carice Hoyt was the starting quarterback as a sophomore and was an all-state quarterback at that. He threw for over 3,000 yards, rushed for about 50 yards. And we went and played in the regional finals and lost to a really good Highland Park team. And so going into the off season, you try to figure out what's the best for next year's team. And we had those conversations, and credit to Carice Hoyt for his unselfishness, because there's not too many kids that are all state quarterbacks that get to be the star of the show and touch the ball every snap, to run it, to throw it, to do all the things, who are willing to do whatever is best for the team. And he was very open about that. I mean, he knew the talent level that Trey had, but also he was a starting quarterback, and he was very open and honest. And, Coach, I'll do whatever it takes for this team to win. And so he, obviously played running back, receiver, safety, kick return, punt return, all the things for us. But if it wasn't for his unselfishness and opening the door for those things, this would have been a really, really difficult thing to do. At the beginning of the season, I told a lot of people, I said, man, we're going to look like the smartest staff or the dumbest staff by making this move. Because who changes positions of an all-state quarterback, and what kid is willing to do that? So that's the kind of kid Carice is, and it opened the door for Trey to be the quarterback, and it's really paid off for us.
Yeah, and he was spectacular. All right, so was there anything in particular, or did anything need to be said when you start to slip away, when the game starts to slip away, knowing Alito in what they've done over the years? Was there anything said, any kind of just everybody went out and made plays in the fourth quarter when you exploded for 28 points?
No, we just had to keep playing one play at a time. I think that's the mantra that most people have. But, when you get down and you battle back and then you're down again, when you feel like it's slipping away. And honestly, when we were down 14 at times, it felt like we were down 30 because of how good Alito was and how physical they were. But our kids just kept playing and battling and just chipping away. and we were down for about 46 minutes of the game, and probably longer than that. But found a way to win at the end. And our kids, Trey Wright and Davian Gross, those two guys especially, just willed us to win there in that fourth quarter.
320 yards receiving by Davian Gross and 15 catches and 4 touchdowns. I mentioned Wright with what he did, also 190 yards along with what he did passing. And then the play that won it, that took the lead, the slant. I mean, that has to be just, again, you have to do that over and over and over again. Did you feel like that the call that was what you needed at that moment? Because if you look at the inside linebacker, again, a split second away from batting it down, you never know what's going to happen.
Yeah, we got close down there. Trey had run one down there. We got it close, and Crease has kind of been our closer down there in the fourth quarter and in the red zone, green zone there. And so really Trey, offense coordinator Brett Gilchrist made a great call, and Trey checked to a little slant route right there, and it worked out to perfection. Zach Forbish and Trey have been working together and throwing and catching for a long time now. So it was great to see Zach had misplayed a ball, a few plays before that, and it was great to see Zach bounce back and catch the game-winning touchdown. When
was coaching in your blood?
As a high school player, I knew I always wanted to be a coach. I knew that's what I wanted to do, just because the impact the coaches had on me. I had great parents that supported me and things like that, but I thought it was awesome, the relationship I had with my coaches and for what they did for me while I was in high school, and continued the relationship as I got into college. I wasn't a real talented football player, just kind of one of those gritty, hard-nosed kids that try to get the most out of his ability and just loved playing, and loved all the things about it. And so, when I graduated in college, I had a chance to volunteer for my old head coach, Todd Dodge, and was volunteering over there, and his OC Clayton George got his first head coaching job. So I traveled around with him for a little while, and it's kind of the rest is history. Bounced around as a coaching nomad and end up here at Lone Star for the last 16 years.
Yeah, it's a great. You're too young looking, by the way, to be that much of a veteran in coaching. Marvin Mims, Trey Taylor, Ashton Genty. Oh my God, loved watching him play at Boise State. Now with the Raiders, Garrett Rangel, and then Trey Wright, and you have others that also have had a huge impact. Shelley, just some. Oh my God, yeah. And then there's so many schools within Frisco ISD. Do you feel blessed sometimes with some of the talent that walks the hallways and also a part of your program?
Yeah, every day. We've been so fortunate to have so many great players come through here. We got 5 guys currently in the NFL, got a lot of guys in college football, got a really talented roster right now. So obviously great players make you a great coach. And so just really lucky to have those guys, and they've been a big part of the legacy that's been built here.
2015, you played for it all. What would it mean to win it all?
Yeah, 99% of coaches and players and communities never get that opportunity even to play for it. But man, it sure would be special, especially for this group of seniors. This team right here is sacrificed so much. Have worked so hard. Would really love to see them, go out on top, and really for our school, but also for our community. Frisco ISD has never had a state champion in football. And I was talking to my old AD, one of my mentors, David Kirkendall, who's in the stadium named after him here in Frisco, and he was one of the architects and one of the big proponents of this big opportunity model with 12 high schools. And for so long, everybody has said, well, there's no way a 12 high school town can compete in football on a regular basis, or get to the big game and win the big game. And it's here right in front of our face. So it's our job to go take advantage of the opportunity.
And some school districts fight that. Again, Frisco's exploded because of all the corporate business you mentioned, and then of course the Cowboys right there as the Star, and that's such a gorgeous place indoor at the Ford Center. So it's like some school districts or cities fight that explosion. You said that you guys have embraced it. Is it almost like it's gotten so large and so many schools have opened up that you like have a rival? It's always going to be a rival, but then you don't know who the next rival is because there's another school that opens up.
Yeah, generally around here, all the kids know each other, even though there's 12 high schools. I mean, all the kids have grown up playing a little league together and middle school against each other. So they all know each other. Generally, the rivalries come from the school that you split from, because you're always splits some way, somehow. We've had two different high schools open up right around us, and then take some of our kids that were sophomores. That's one of the things I'm probably most proud of here is the consistent success that we've had, and the culture of our program. Obviously, we've had great players and we've had great coaches come through here, but the consistent success whenever we are being split, and sometimes it affects your depth and affects your competition. We've been able to find a way to just continue to win and to continue to win at a high level. To be here in the state championship again is almost surreal.
Last week of the season, it never ends. Of course, if you're a college coach, it's even worse because of I say worse, with the portal and NIL and all what's going on with some coaches are being driven out of the game. Can you ever imagine yourself not coaching unless it's retirement?
No, number one, I don't have any other skills, so I don't know what I would do. I'd have to be a stay-at-home dad or something like that. No, this is. I think it's in my blood. I think it's all I've ever wanted to do. It's my passion. I love getting a chance to coach these kids every day and be around these coaches. Man, there's nothing better. Never felt like I've worked a day in my life because I get a chance to be around these kids and these coaches and represent our school and our school district. It's a pretty cool deal, and hopefully I can do it for a long, long time.
Your son, Kay, daughter is Campbell. Your wife, Candace. I guess they're about to see Dad a little bit more here with Christmas around the corner. Would be a great gift. What's the definition of a coach's wife?
Unwavering support, and just a true champion at home that takes the load off of everything else that goes on. She lets me coach football. My wife works full time, has got a big job, but she lets me go and coach football, and she lets me spend the time up here that's needed. My kids understand, and luckily, my son's he's with us all the time. He's 7th grade, but he gets to be on the bus and on the sideline. My daughter's a freshman cheerleader, so she's here at the school and been on the sideline cheering throughout the playoff run. So this year has been even more special in that way to have my family around during this special run.
My question now is this: you're playing Smithson Valley, the Rangers. When I graduated in 1977 at Universal City Randolph High School in San Antonio, but we played Smithson Valley as a non-district, and maybe they were in my district that time, and that was what 2A back then, now would be 3A. But I remember playing Smithson Valley. We won that game. They were kind of new. Larry Hill is not new. Larry Hill has over 300 wins. He finally got that state title. He's been in this point. What are your thoughts about him and the legend of Larry Hill and having him on the other side of the other sideline?
Yeah, he's a legend. There's no doubt about it. So much admiration and so much respect for him. I'm proud to have the chance to share the field with him. I'm proud to have the opportunity to coach against him because he is a legend. He's such a good man. He's a great coach. He's such a good man too, and he's done such a great job of building Smithson Valley into what it is. And it was really cool to see him kind of break through last year and win his first state championship after a couple attempts. But man, I'm excited to compete against them, and see how we stack up against Smithson Valley.
All right, so you have the game. Final question. You have the game coming up to win a state title against Smithson Valley. That's the first game on Saturday, right? Is that your opening game? Oh, you're playing Friday night.
Friday night, 7:00.
How many times would you want to know the Oklahoma-Alabama score? Aren't you an OU grad?
I am an OU guy. It's funny because I'm obviously an OU guy. I got 2 coaches on staff that are Alabama guys. One played tight end at Alabama. We saw it on the schedule, and we said, you know what? Don't even care what happens on Friday night. All we care about is the Lone Star.
Absolutely.
Everything after that, we'll deal with that later on. We're just going to focus on Lone Star for Friday night.
And you got a couple of guys, I think, on your staff that are Stephen F. Austin graduates. I know Dominic Edison was a great player from East Texas, and that's where my alma mater as well. Tell Dominic I said hi. I think I covered him my website when wasn't he at San Augustine High School? Yes. I think he was just a great player. Jeff, I know you got a team meeting and other meetings to get to. Thank you very much for being a part of the show. It's a condensed week. I know that as well. Good luck on Friday night, and hopefully bring a state championship home to the Frisco ISD. We appreciate your time.
Yes, sir. I appreciate everything you do.
Thank you. That's Jeff Rayburn, head coach at Lone Star High School. Think about that. They have 12 schools now, some 5A, some 6A. and it was Frisco High. And I used the example of Plano, which was just north of Dallas, which used to be extended outside of Dallas. And then they had, remember, Plano High with 5,000 enrollment, and then they split Plano East, and then Plano West. There's those 3 schools. And then I think in some of those schools even are just the junior and seniors on campus. And then Allen with 7,000 plus so far, they still have the one school. It's like what Judson went through in Converse, where they were one school and incredibly successful, and eventually you had Cibolo Steel and a couple of other schools that eventually Wagner that wore out that particular school. Frisco's growing. God, it's a beautiful place. We've been there, Garrett, at AT&T Stadium. I mean, at the Star. We've been there for Big 12 Media Days. I've been there for high school football broadcasts. One of the best games I saw was Carthage and China Spring in a semifinal game. I think it went 4 overtimes, and Carthage eventually won. Yeah, what a great story out of Frisco ISD. And remember, Prosper's just north of them, and they've got all the fields, and now they've got multiple schools, and they continue to grow into what eventually is Salina. Garrett, we've had a fun run. It's been the emotions of either laughter or tears or heart-wrenching like memories and reminiscing, and just been an emotional year with John King with his cancer. By the way, he rang the bell this last treatment.
That's awesome.
Last week.
Good
so
for
that
Coach
was
King.
good. It's been fun. We've been lucky with who we've had on the show.
It's been a blast. I mean, it's been one of the more memorable seasons that we've done this, in my opinion, just because of the stories we've got to tell and the experiences. Kind of keeping track with Kagan Ash and that historic run has been awesome, and just seeing the lineups that we get for these state championship games and a lot of these matchups, it's going to be really exciting. I think it's going to be one of the best slates of state championship games that we've seen in probably about a decade.
I have my pass, and I have also the Texas High School Hall of Fame has a suite, and I was lucky, of course, at this time a year ago when we had the suite, the introduction in between the I think it was the second game on state championship Saturday and all that memory. I'm going to go up there. I think I'm going to go up there at some point Saturday and watch the 2 6A games. Lone Star, of course, playing on Friday night. We just mentioned that one against Smithson Valley.
Go-to guy. Can you fix my smartphone?
Yes.
Do you have car batteries?
Yeah.
What about golf cart batteries?
Of course.
Battery from a G-Fob?
Absolutely.
My boat?
Huge variety.
Toy boat?
Sure.
Motorcycles?
You bet.
My apartment building?
Whole building.
Do you have batteries for my party lights?
Yeah.
Batteries Plus, the experts in charge.
Whatever it is you wrangle, whatever seeds you sow, no matter what you nurture or what you choose to grow, at Texas Farm Bureau Insurance, we're proud to protect all Texans.
Peters Ram in Longview is gearing up for this football season during the Make This the Summer event going on now. Make all the right moves by getting 25% off MSRP on new select Ram 1500 Lone Star crew cabs. The season is looking good with the largest selection of new Ram trucks at Peters Ram during the Make This the Summer event. Online at peterscars.com.
At Sturdy Steel, we build more than grandstands and press boxes. We build the spaces where communities come together. Based in Texas and serving communities nationwide, we're proud of our reputation for dependable, high-quality work and strong client relationships that stand the test of time. From concept to installation, our team of skilled drafters, welders, and installers takes pride in delivering seating solutions designed to last. With a focus on dependability, transparency, and service, we are here to make the unique needs of architects, contractors, schools, and venues across the country. We ensure every project is seamless, sturdy, and ready for generations of fans to enjoy. That's Sturdy Steel. This is David Smoke's statewide Texas high school football podcast on 365 Sports and powered by Smoaky.com and sponsored by Peter Chevrolet in Longview, an innovative third-generation family dealership dedicated to ethics, integrity, and the community, while creating friendly, intelligent, and transparent environment to assist with any automotive need, large or small.
McNair in the gun with under 2 minutes left, down 44-0, trying to get a score. English right side, and he will score. Touchdown, the senior, Raul English from 2 yards out.
Texas Farm Bureau Insurance. We are an insurance provider built by Texans for Texans. We've been protecting families in our great state since 1952. Sturdy Steel. We build more than grandstands and press boxes. We build the spaces where communities come together. Based in Texas and serving communities nationwide. Batteries Plus. We have the person who can fix what you need with expert knowledge on batteries and have you on your way and good to go in no time. Batteries Plus, the experts in charge. Rudy's Country Store and Barbecue, with locations throughout the Southwest, serving up tasty food since 1989, including off I-35 in Waco. Next in line, Marco's Pizza, the fastest growing pizza brand in America. Marco's Pizza, Marcos.com. Pizza lovers get it with 5 locations in the Waco area. Bird Culchin Ford on the Loop and Highway 6 in Waco. And Waco's trusted Ford dealer since 1936. And customers know they can expect us to be fair, honest, affordable, and always committed to the tradition of quality service.
Garrett Ross runs the mothership, 365 Sports, David Smoke, Smoaky.com. And then, of course, we have the afternoon podcast on 365 Sports from 3 to 6. Subscribe to the channel and subscribe to this one, too, if you don't mind, which is separated, all under the same umbrella, but separated with a different podcast channel. So, state championship week in Texas, right? Some schools, states, et cetera, have already decided theirs. And I don't know what it was. Maybe there was a full moon. I don't think so. I don't know what it was. But there were 3 games that jumped up on my timeline. And I guess because I do cover high school football and I have kept up with it for a long time, 44 years. These are 3 state championship games in 3 different states with bizarre endings. Let's start with Lake Mary in the Florida State Championship game. This is, again, here we go.
He will be throwing to that end zone where the wind has been in the face traditionally, but the wind has quieted down. In the shotgun, 8 seconds to go in the game. Grubbs drops back to pass. This will be the final play of the game. Grubbs, 4, 3, 2, 1, barring penalty, final play to the 5, deflected, caught,
caught the ball.
And he's brought down at the 2-yard line. No, he's not. He's in the end zone for a touchdown. Goodness gracious, it's a caught by Schultz, lateral to the left side, and in the end zone for a touchdown goes Samorius Brundage Jr. Goodness gracious me, oh my.
All right, so that's Lake Mary against Vero Beach in the Florida State Championship. A couple of things from that replay. One, has a hell of a throw. I don't know, like 50 yards or so from the quarterback. And then you did what you're supposed to do as a secondary. You try to knock it down. Well, they did, but he knocked it into the hands of a receiver. Now, there were thoughts and responses to that. Did the receiver lose? Was his forward progress stopped? But it really never seemed like it was. And then he ends up getting into the end zone and just unbelievable finish. That's to win a state championship. And again, it's also to lose one as well. Now let's go to Connecticut. Connecticut, Brockfield is going for 2 to win the game. But let's wait a minute. Let's watch how this one ends up in Connecticut in the CIAC Class M championship game. You may want to turn the volume down a little bit on this one.
2 points. Here it is. And it is Bundorf. And Bundorf. He got it. Yes, sir. Here's the kick.
All right, so here we go. They take the lead.
It's going out?
No. Pick it up at the 21. At the 21. And now they're going for the He's at the 40. midfield. Look out. He's at the 40. Could he go all the way? No. He's going to go all the way. Touchdown, Berlin. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Eli Rice. Eli Rice.
No flags on the field, Coach.
33 seconds left.
All right, so that's Connecticut. So you have the lead, you go for two, you make it, then you kick off, and it's always, well, just, squib it out of bounds, let them throw a Hail Mary, but we saw what happened before the last Hail. So, and the young man, Eli Rice, takes it the distance. So here's what we have as we enter the last week of the Texas high school football season. Some of you who are watching today in our final week of the podcast, some of the games might be over, but here we are. They start Wednesday morning, Class 1A, six-man, 11 o'clock kickoffs. Remember last week we had 4 teams played that were unbeaten. 4 different teams that were unbeaten coming into the week. There's none of that. No unbeaten against unbeaten, which is kind of rare. But here are the different records against other records, and from 15-0 to 14-1. So there you go, 4, 5, 6, 8, 12 games to go from 1A to up to 6A, 2 in each classification, Division I, Division II. So all the records you would expect to be pretty good. Someone would say, hey, what's that 13-0 game? There's 13-0, had a couple of games, one delayed, one weather, didn't have an opponent. So there you are, 15-0, and we're going to show you all those games now with Jerry Forrest and our good friend at Pigskin Prep, and this is what they have. The number on the right is the 2 combined state index rankings, depending on class. So the lower the number, obviously the higher quality as far as of the index. There's only one game that's combined double digit. That's Duncanville and North Shore. And that's hard to imagine because they've played each other, like 4, 5, or 6 times in the state championship with dramatic type of finishes. So the first one, DeSoto, Pick'em game against C.E. King, who scored 58. Remember, they beat Summer Creek a couple of weeks ago, beat them twice. And C.E. King advanced to the state championship game again. Duncanville and North Shore in what becomes almost an annual type of meeting up at AT&T Stadium for a state championship game. Those are 6A. 5A, there's Frisco, the Lone Star, and who they are against Smithson Valley and Larry Hill, legendary head coach, and a team that won it all last year. Then you have Randall. Again, they're the newbie. 15-0 again with Coach Randall, whose dad, Dr. Randall, the name of the school after him. South Oak Cliff with Coach Todd, trying 5th consecutive state championship game. Stephenville, Kilgore, Clint Fuller. Remember last year they were so close but lost to Salina. They're really, really good on defense. Of course, Stephenville is also, the Yellow Jackets are fantastic. There's Carthage, a 2-touchdown favorite against West Orange Stark, who they've always been good, but they've been kind of like simmering. And they had the great win last week to get to the championship game. West Orange Stark, Carthage in that one. Yoakum with Bo Robinson and Yoakum. They've been kind of they were good last year, but they have some great talent. They have a running back, a young freshman who's putting up huge yards, and they go against Grandview and Ryan Ebner, who we featured last week. Then you have Newton, Drew Johnston, that legendary W.T. Johnston, and Newton, the Eagles. Unbelievable, pound for pound, as good as anybody. They're slight favorites against Wall. Hamilton and Joaquin, a couple of teams. Hamilton made the run last year to the state title, didn't win it. And Joaquin, the Rams, as I mentioned earlier, they love to run that slot T, and they do it very well. Then Munster and Shiner. Munster's a slight favorite. Gordon, 6-man team that played 11-man games this year, a couple of 11-man teams this year. I saw a note where someone says if they were to finish 14-0 and beat Rankin, maybe the single greatest 6-man team in high school football, Texas high school football history, than Jayton. What a great history in Richland Springs, too, in the other game in Class 1A in what is 6-man football. Garrett Ross, thank you, young man, for all of what you've done throughout the year. Thanks to all of our great sponsors who have been here with us every single day. You get Batteries Plus, you get Sturtisteel, you get Peters Chevrolet, my buddy Randy Peters, and Sturtisteel. Also, Texas Farm Bureau Insurance with what they've done with us. Bubba's 33 and Baylor Scott and White Southwest Sports Medicine. I'm David Smoke for Garrett Ross. Enjoy the final week. It's unbelievable. It's over after this weekend of Texas high school football.